This week, Jason Crosby joins Dave Matthews, Heartstring Solon, a Royal Sum, a Royal Cypress, and Take a Chance on AI, plus a lot more. This is Wook Plus Mornings.
What's up, Don? Oh. What's going on in here?
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news bulletin.
Check it out.
Wook Plus Mornings.
All right. Dave Matthews Band always delivers at the New Jersey PNC Bank Arts Center. I didn't know that it was called Center. Tuesday night, no exception, as we had Bay Area musician extraordinaire, multi-instrumentalist Jason Crosby joined the band for a couple tunes. About 90 minutes into the set, he came out for Pig, stayed on for Ants Marching, which had a really fantastic solo. There's a video up. There's a guy on YouTube. I do not know his name off the top of my head, but he does most Dave Matthews shows. It really made me think of the Boyd Tinsley era. This marked Crosby's first performance with Dave Matthews, even though Robert Randolph, he was in that band. They were tight with Dave Matthews back in the day. And last year, Robert Randolph actually came out and sat in with Dave Matthews, same venue. And the year before, Warren came out. So very, very interesting. And here is a beautiful shot from the side of the stage. And let's move on to number 2. I want to send a big FU out to one Garfield Bennett, 57, of Pleasantville, New Jersey. He stole 2 cherished instruments belonging to Hard from the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City before the start of their tour. One was a mandolin that belonged to the guy Paul Moak, who has been with the band for over 25 years, and the other was a custom purple sparkle baritone Telecaster with a hand-painted stock that was made for Nancy Wilson. We've seen this again and again. Anyone who would do this is the lowest form of scum on the planet. Like Nancy said, instruments are extensions of our souls, and I truly believe that for musicians. Do you ever see Trey? Do you ever see any great guitarist put down their guitar? They stepped up. They did the whole show, 2 sets, got Magic Man, Crazy on You, that Dream song from the MTV area, a bunch of deeper cuts. So a couple days later, that was May 30th, June 4th, they caught the poop head, who was identified off of surveillance footage. And he faces charges of burglary and theft, and he's in the Atlantic County Justice Facility, whatever that nonsense means. But they only got back one of the 2 instruments. They didn't say which, but the cops say, the band says, if someone says, hey, I bought this in good faith, I didn't know what was going on, they aren't going to face charges. Just give the thing back, but you're probably going to be out a bunch of money because obviously you would have paid a lot of money for Nancy Wilson's guitar. All right. I know I poop on Roger Daltrey a lot, but when a man deserves props, we extend them, and he deserves props here. So the backstory is Roger founded the Teenage Center Trust concerts in 2000. So this was the 25th anniversary. Was at the Royal Albert Hall, raised 2.5 million pounds. So over the 25 years, that makes 36 million that he has raised. And the mission is no young person should have to face cancer alone. So this year saw The Who, Frank Carter, the Sex Pistols, and James Arthur headline. You can see the different days there. Plus they had a comedy night with a bunch of names I didn't recognize, but I guess, they're pretty big comedians if they're going to be at this. So shout out to Roger for doing that. It also is the final time he's doing the event, and he's passing the torch to my man, Robert Smith of The Cure, who is one of my favorite people all around, great guy in the whole world. But something to keep in context here, these are the shows that started the whole Zach Starkey debacle. All right, let's do some more Royal Albert Hall, because Cypress Hill were part of the butt of a joke on a TV show one time, and all of a sudden they have an album. But first, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't. If it's your first time here, please subscribe, turn on the notifications, check us out, think about becoming a member. I do this on Monday mornings just for the members. Cypress Hill reached a pinnacle moment in their groundbreaking career with Black Sunday live at the Royal Albert Hall. So they teamed up with the London Symphony Orchestra to perform a full orchestral version of their iconic 1983 album, Black Sunday. It was last July they did this, the 10th of July last year. So this has already come out, and I find it fascinating that a joke from a 1996 episode of The Simpsons developed into this. If you haven't heard it, take a listen to it. I mean, the London Symphony Orchestra doesn't collaborate with just anyone. So, doing a hip hop band, good for them. God love them. All right. All right. And here's a shot of them with the Send Dog and Be Real with the London Symphony Orchestra. Everybody loves ABBA, or most everybody loves ABBA. And Bjorn Ulvaeus, who has spoken out in the past very sternly, has now embraced AI, and he is currently writing a new musical with the help of AI. So he says it is a great tool, and he likens it to having another songwriter in the room, to the expansive reference frame and the ability to spark fresh ideas. So he did something that was a hologram concert, the Voyage Project, I guess is what it was called. He says that AI is lousy at writing whole songs and very bad at lyrics, making it more useful as a creative prompt than a finished songwriter. And he also said that it's a tool for writer's block. I don't know about this on any level. Let's look at a picture of him today. He does not look anywhere as cool as he did back in the 70s. I feel like AI is all of a sudden a crutch because he's talking about writer's block. He's talking about a creative partner and things like that. It's a damn bunch of numbers. It's zeros and ones. That's all it is. It's just regurgitating stuff. You aren't going to find your truth if you're using AI. So I'm just going to go with that and say that it seems the Guns N' Roses have found their truth. They broke out to Get Me for the first time since 2017 during a recent show in Istanbul, and they admitted it's so easy for the first time since 93. Now, Guns N' Roses, we're jam band people. Guns N' Roses doesn't mix up their set list, but they opened with Welcome to the Jungle for the first time since before 1993, which is a big thing. A bunch of covers this tour. They did Human Being and Abu Dhabi. They did Thunder and Lightning in Japan from Thin Lizzy. They did Used to Love Her for the first time since 2018 in Doha. And for whatever reason, they admitted all Chinese Democracy songs in Riyadh. So that was another first since 1993. Not big on the Chinese Democracy album. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Chinese Democracy album, because it's questionable. They're going to be on tour through July, but they did not say that they were going to have any USA dates. This is fascinating to me because I am a huge Twin Peaks fan. So Ethel Cain has a new song, Nettles, which is 8 minutes, banjo and vintage synths. And the synths were sourced from a Twin Peaks composer. So it's going to be on her upcoming album, I'll Always Love You. And you should check that out. It's just, I tell you what, that Twin Peaks soundtrack was one of the first things I ever got. The soundtrack for the movie, Fire Walk With Me, was one of the first CDs I ever bought that wasn't specifically within the rock realm. We're just scraping the outside of it because someone said you should check out Memphis Soul, which That kind of thing is a foundation for rock and roll. Some sad news. Al Foster, who one of the first things that I completely fell in love with was Miles Davis, was this album called Black Magus, because it was chaotic. It was beautiful. It was dark. It's probably where my love for like the Split Open and Melt Jam that Fish does and things like that comes from. And he was the drummer on that album. He was also on Big Fun, Agurda, a couple of the others. And Davis even wrote a song about him, Mr. Foster, for the On the Corner session. So he preferred the swing jazz, but he totally embraced what Miles was doing and followed him. He played with Sonny Rollins, Joe Henderson, Ron Carter, Art Pepper, Roy McCoy Tyner, Horst Silver. And he also did a really, it's a 1978 album, so it's older. I dig the older stuff. It's pushing 50 years, but it's called Mixed Roots. And it really has the funk with some of the swing. And he also co-founded Skolo Ho-Fi with John Scofield. And it was an album that they did called Oh, with that was me doing an exclamation point. So very just sad day that we lost him over the past week. And again, it's why if you can go see the older guys and you haven't seen them, go see them, because it may be your last chance. All right, we're not going to do a jam band roundup. We ran through a few stories. I've been debating in my head, going back and forth. Is this a longer thing? Is this a shorter thing? So I cut the difference. I'm trying to land it at around 15 minutes today. I'm not sure what this looks like, Snow, and I appreciate everyone who has continued to watch it. If I've learned anything in my life, it's to just soldier on. I took years in real estate before I finally hit it big. And at one point, right before COVID, I ended up top 5% of volume sales of real estate agents in the country. I pushed through. I sent thousands of emails. I went after people. Please give me a shot. And here we are. Anyway, why don't we dig into a couple festival things, and then we're just going to get out of here for the day. Hopefully you guys will come back next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, check out Live. I think it'll probably just be me and T again. And that's always a great thing. The week after, on the 18th, we're going to have Mr. Scott Marks coming. He is most associated with Fishnet, Biz Archive out there on the interwebs. Good guy. Always like to bring him in before a tour. Great perspective. Always like to bring him back in after a tour. He is the guy who does teases. So when you submit something to Fishnet, that's ultimately who you're talking to. But all right, let's jump into this.
The first thing you should bring is tickets.
Bring a tarp?
Bring a ground cover because it gets pretty wet.
Money, yes. Lots of money.
The other night on Live last Wednesday, what was that? The 4th, on the 4th, we got into a little bit about festivals and why so many festivals fail. 40 festivals have disappeared over the past year. They just fall off the map. Other people try to hop in, do it, and there's just always some disconnect. But let me tell you, on September 6th and 7th this year in Mundelein, Illinois, the festival is happening that you probably want to go to. It's called The Miracle in Mundelein. It combines live music with legal on-site cannabis consumption. And Saturday, they have Damon Marley. Hello. De La Soul opening up for him. A couple other bands playing. Then Sunday, on the 7th, they have Humphreys performing a Pink Floyd tribute set. Dark Star Orchestra, Karina Reichman, and DJ Airwolf. So, additional info, surprise guest expected. Tickets go on sale at 12 o'clock Central Time, so just in a few hours. All right. The Corona Capital Festival. Do you want to go to Mexico for something that isn't a destination band vacation? This is in Mexico City. Friday, Foo Fighters, first confirmed North American shows of 2025. Sunday, Chappelle Roan, who is, if you don't know, I tangentially know some of these things because I have daughters. So I get to hear about these things, but she is a breakout pop star and one of the hottest names out there. And then Sunday, Lincoln Park. Who cares? They have their long-awaited return, the first major festival in years. All right, but then we get into the supporting acts, which always, for me with a festival, is what makes you go. And I think a lot of reason people don't go because they only recognize the headliner. But Friday, Queens of the Stone Age. Now, Queens of the Stone Age drummer, I believe, is who's going to be playing with Foo Fighters. He was there after Hawkins died, before they hired the guy Freese, who they'd recently fired, but also Garbage, Four Non-Blondes. Who knew Four Non-Blondes were still performing? Saturday, you get Vampire Weekend, right? And you get Grizzly Bear and Alabama Shakes, which are a favorite of mine. Sunday, the Deftones, Weezer, James of Monsters and Men, and TV on the radio as support. So this is a incredibly well curated festival, and I'm very excited to see what happens with all of that. Let's move on to our favorite guy, Dave Matthews, who just had Jason Crosby out with him. He is going to go back to the Moon Palace. We've gotten 4 or 5 widespread, slightly stupid fish. We're just waiting on a Dead and Company announcement for Mexico. They're playing Moon Palace Resort in Mexico, the 21st to the 24th next year. This is their 9th annual, and it's going to have 3 full performances by the duo. And on Wednesday, the 21st, Nathan Ratcliffe and the Night Sweats will headline with Trampled by Turtles opening. I mean, if you're into that thing, I really like Nathan Ratcliffe. I'm not even going to Mexico to see my favorite band like Fish or something like that. So anyway, Thursday, Joy Okadum will perform as support. And on Friday, Say She is supposed to perform. Saturday, Dave Matthews and Tim will perform a special duo set to close out the event. So they have all, inclusive packages, all access, yada, yada, yada. Tickets go on sale Tuesday, June 10th at noon Eastern. And if you're in the Dave Matthews Band Warehouse fan club, you can probably get in a little early. All right, this is something that I totally missed, and I so want to go see. This is only the Europe dates, but Psychedelic Furs is touring North America first with Gary Newman, who we know Cars. We know that Paige loves doing Cars. Are doing a tour of the United States, and then they just announced a UK tour where they're going to do 6 shows there. I mean, if you like 80s music, if you like John Hughes movies, I mean, Love My Way, Pretty in Pink, Heaven, it's really incredible. And you can actually look up videos of them. It's only Richard and Tim Butler from the original band, the brothers. But, if you want to, if you're into something interesting that's maybe a little nostalgic, but maybe a little bit out of the box, I would go see them. They were a really fantastic band at the time. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. If this is your first time watching and you made it to the end of this video, you are a champion's champion. And please think about subscribing and liking the video. We're all over social media, so make sure that you check us out on social media. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.